Hello everyone, and welcome back again to another lesson of Management Information Systems. Now in this lesson, as I promised, we're gonna actually work with two combo boxes. Now in order to filter two combo boxes, it's really quite easy, but to be honest with you, I wanted to pick up as well, to hit as well on one of the topics which was actually which a lot of students have met, and probably you have met already in your while doing your seminars, is the problem of navigational properties. Like when you are trying, for example, to select some certain property or item, you find yourself that you cannot access the properties of a certain entity, and at the end you get the add and stuff. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. Instead of, for example, getting the actual class parameters. In this lesson, I'm gonna show you, for example, how to select a region, or probably select a territory. Select a region, and then from the region I will get territories, and then once I select a territory, I will immediately get my employee, which I am selecting. I would like to get all the employees in that territory, for example. So how, in fact, to do that? Now you're gonna have three steps for doing this. First step is fill in the combo box with the regions. Second step is, after filling in the combo box with region, once you select an item from a combo box from a region, you're gonna have to fill in the territories combo box. And then once you select, this is right now the second step, once you select an item from the territories combo box, then you're gonna fill in the data grid view, let's say, of data grid view with employees. So let us actually build this form. So here in the main menu, Shift F7 to get to the many main menus here, and I would like to add employees based on territories. I hope that oh man, how it was spelled? Well, hang on a second. So I probably, hang on. Just wanted to spell it right, sorry. So I believe it was Tories, there you go. Territories, based on territories, yeah, there you go. So I'm gonna name this, or it doesn't matter, I will not name it right now. Select your project which you are working with, Control Shift A to add an item, and give it a second. Windows form, FRM imp territory, so just make it short and easy. And in here I'm gonna have two things. First thing is gonna be, or three things in fact. First thing is gonna be my couple labels here, and combo box. So there you go, one combo box, second combo box, and let me scale this up a little bit. And I'm gonna hunt for the properties of this label. I'm gonna call this regions. So you select here, well, in fact, I mean, you should have called it region because you are selecting one region. And in here I'm gonna put, let me just align this all together nicely. I'm gonna select this F4. This is gonna be regions. This is gonna be territory, because we are selecting a singular territory, and we have it. Everything is aligned. Now I'm gonna have one more data grid view in the data section. There we go, data grid view. And in fact, I'm gonna parent to doc. Oh, sorry, not that one. Not parent. I'm parent. I'm gonna anchor it, just in case, because I like to have to be comfortable with my form when I resize it, because I'm not gonna work with it in such a size. And pretty much that's it. Right now, let us start naming our controls. I'll make this drop down list as I showed you already in the previous lesson. So select the combo box in the properties section, drop down list. I'm gonna call this CMB region. This is gonna be CMB territory. And on the form show, of course I have to name my form correctly, hang on a second. Yeah, this one. So employees based on territories. Okay, right away. Now when I run my form, the first thing I would like to do is fill in my combo box. So I'm gonna come here and make a public static list of regions, and then I say get all regions, and in here I'm gonna say return dm class.dc.region region dot to list. Okay, so right now I return the list of regions, and in here on the form load I'm gonna just say cmb region dot data source equals to, and I will assign the combo box of the region, so it's gonna be imp services. So imp yeah, I have to add the using model, and here is gonna be imp services dot get all regions. Now my combo box is filled. I have just only to set the data member, display member, excuse me, is gonna equal to I will double check right now how it was called in database in a second. So I need actually the region description. So let me see here in my Solution Explorer region, and this is called region description. So I'm gonna Control C this, close that, Control V right there. Okay, so let's give it a try. So before I run, of course, this form, I have to hook up the event for displaying the form, and in here I'm gonna just say var frm equals to new frm employee territory, and here is gonna be frm.mdi parent equals to this frm.show. So we have got that. So Control F5, and let me send this form over here, and let's hope it will, yeah, okay, employee based on territories, and then we get Eastern, Western, Southern. So we got like several ones of them. Now when I select an item from here, I have to display the result in there. Now previous lesson we had actually to take out, you know, like select one of those items and then display the results here in region, excuse me, in the data grid view. The same exact code applies to the territory for the combo boxes. Exactly the same code. The only thing is, instead of writing data grid view.data source, you're gonna write there combo boxes data source, and that's it. Nothing more. Okay. Now I'm gonna come over here, and okay, I believe I don't need these forms, so close this and close that, just because they are right now a little bit distracting. Now let me hit Shift F7 to get to the design view, and in here I will double click on the combo box to handle the selected index change. So once I select a region, I would like to display all the properties of that region, all the territories of that region. So here I'm gonna have public static list of regions, list of territories, sorry about that, list of territories, get all, or get territory by region, and here I will send a region object. Now I'm gonna have a small query, var query equals to from territory in dm class.dc.territories where region ID, oops, there you go, equals region ID. Okay, select territory, and please convert this to me to a list. In fact, if you would like to go right away with it, here's another trick. You can write it like this. It's gonna be actually the same thing. I'm right now showing you several variations just for you not to be like tied up to a certain way of writing the thing. So this is the same, like, you know, just hitting the return there. So it's gonna work the same way. I hope that this doesn't confuse you. I'm just simply showing you different variations. Whatever you like, whatever you are comfortable with, just simply pick it up. Now in here, once the selected index changed, right now I'm gonna fill in the territory. So combo box territory dot so data source equals to, and sometimes some people like to break it in 2 lines. Let me break it to you again here. So I'm gonna have var region, so or selected region, it's up to you, equals to CMB region dot selected item, and since selected item is in fact an object, I will cast this again to region. Okay, and in here I'm gonna have, why I have, oh yes, so they have okay, let me do it like this. I believe I'm gonna call it explicitly like model.region, because region is in fact a system.drawing class. Now this is one of the problems which you could meet, so I'm gonna hit it like that. So right now when I say the namespace.region, right now I eliminate the ambiguity in there, because right now you have a region in drawing, for example, to specify if you would like to draw some sort of forms that they are irregular shape, they are not non-rectangular forms. Right now you have to play with the regions of the form. And you have a region which is region in Northwind. So in order to eliminate this, you have to explicitly say model.region in order just to say, okay, I'm actually working with that class, not with the system.drawing class. So data source is going to equal to imp services dot get territory by region, and then I will give him actually region object, which I have selected region. There you go. So, and of course CMB territory dot display member. As far as I remember, it was as far as I'm looking right now to the other monitor here, I see that it's gonna be territory description. So I'm gonna grab the text right from there, copy it without, so you make sure that I'm not gonna make any kind of spelling mistakes, and let's control F5 this, and let's see how it will look like. And I will log in right away, and hang on a second, I will show you right away the other form. There you go. So employee based on territories. So let me scale this. Now when I have Eastern, it's automatically selecting what I have on the Eastern part. When I say Western, it immediately shows the Western territories. If I select Southern or Northern, and so on and so forth. Now I've got territories. Okay. Now the only thing what is left is to select an item from a combo box. Okay. And then from that combo box, and once I select it, I can actually show something here in the data grid view. Right now it's really straightforward. It's like exactly the last lesson. When I pick up an item from a combo box, I can immediately right away start, you know, sending the data to the data grid view. So here I'm not actually going to break it down like I did here. I'm going to actually like write it all together, so I will not make another object to send it here. I'm just going to write this whole thing inside the function which I'm going to create right now. So here I'm going to have public static list of employees right now, because I'm selecting employees based on their territory. So get employee by territory, and here I'm gonna send a territories object, so territory, and here I'm gonna return. Right now the query is gonna be different, and I will show you why in a second. Most of people have got such a problem. Let's say, okay, let me write it for you down like this, so you can feel, so you will not feel anything unfamiliar. So from territory in, or excuse me, from employee, so imp in dm class.dc.territories, where, oh, извини, oh, sorry about that. Employees, sometimes I type in blindly. Emp dot territories dot, and then you get this. Now this is actually the properties of arrays, by the way. I mean, this is like the stuff which you get in the list. If you initiated a list, you can add territories to a list of their territory. Now this is in fact a small problem which people mostly face, and even it's much more specialized problem right now, because I am having a many-to-many relationship. Now you can see here, if you open SQL Server, let me grab SQL Server in a second here, right now, and if you look at SQL Server, you got in Northwind database diagram. Let me show it to you here. I hope that I will see it somewhere just when it loads. So regions, you see, region territory, and I believe this should be employee territory. You see, this is the many-to-many relationship. Now, because the difference between entity, link to entity, and link to SQL, as I said already before, and I'm reminding you again, if you are using link to entity, you use it because you already have the classes and you don't have the database, or you have the database and the classes have been developed concurrently. And right now you use link to entity in order to make the classes which you have developed on your database. Link to SQL will actually generate exactly the same database layout in your classes. So in fact, if you are using link to SQL, you're gonna see this as a class, by the way. If you are using right now as link to entities, you can see that employees and territory having many-to-many. There's no middle table in there. So in order to solve this problem, you can go around it like this. So from emp employees, and then from yeah, I will call it ter in dm class.dc.territories. Where territory dot, and as far as I remember, you have to write employees dot contains, and then you write the emp. In fact, I have to invert it, sorry about that. So it's gonna be like this: employees dot territories dot contains, because I'm trying actually to search by territory. That territory, oops, why on earth I'm having problem with this? Okay, select emp dot to list, return query. Okay, so let me compile and run this and see how the result will look like. Let's hope no crashes. Okay, give it a second to load. Now employees based on territories. I don't know if it will work out, but let's see. So basically there are no Mr. Wilford, so no currently. Oh, sorry about that. I have I forgot to yeah, sorry about that. I have in fact forgot to write there the data grid view, which I even forgot to name it as well. Let me name it while I'm at it. Data grid view employees, and in here I'm gonna say data grid view employees dot data source equals to cmb, no, hold on a second, emp services dot get employees by territory, and I'll pass here cmb territory dot selected item, and I'll pass, and of course I have to cast here to territories object, and that's it. So let's control F5 this, and I'll log in here right away. Sorry, not that one, this one. And until now I cannot see, sorry about that, hang on. Until now I cannot see anything. Oops, okay, right now I've got a crash here. Unable to create a constant value model territories, only primitive types are supported in the context. So GUID. Let me double check my code again. Let us double check our query here again. Oh man, okay, in fact okay, let me just rewrite this query again, because it shouldn't be like this here. I'm sorry, when you're writing stereotypes, it's sometimes, you know, sometimes some stuff you write it by stereotype. Hang on a second. So basically, in order to write something like that, I'm gonna have from employee in dmclass.dc.employees, and in here I'm gonna say from a territory inside my employee.territories. Now this is actually strange, and I'm gonna explain to you in a second, where a territory dot territory ID equals the territory which I passed dot territory ID. Select the employee which I need dot to list. Okay. First of all, let me first run it, and I will show it to you, and I will explain to you exactly what this code means. Hang on a second. Actually, the variation which you have saw a couple seconds ago actually works, but in some other cases. And in fact, it has to be written as well like this. So you have to say from, I mean, in this case, like from the array list inside that employee, or from the list inside the employee, you can say territory dot contains the territory object. You can do that as well. So here you go, it works. Now, Western Chicago, nobody in Chicago, nobody in Colorado apparently. There is a Scottsdale or something. So you have an employee there as well. You have got, you know, Santa Cruz, so you got that too. The guy, and even they put the image is in there. Okay, so we have got all these guys listed in using two combo boxes, and even we resolved the many-to-many relationship. Now let me explain you what I'm talking about here. So basically I said select for every employee, I mean emp is actually an object of an employees class, okay, and from the territory object inside that territories list, okay, because the employee object contains all the territories in there, and then I would like just simply to filter the employees based on their territory ID. So basically I didn't go to the pool of territory table, I just simply because every employee could be like in several territories apparently in Northwind, this is how they saw it. And I said, okay, for every employee, for every territory, so for every employee inside a certain territory, if he is in that territory, then please select him. Okay, again, so you picked up an employee object, you see you actually see through his territories list, and then if he's in fact in that territory, then you just simply return him. Okay, this is how actually this one works. Now, this is in fact for many-to-many relationships. For like one-to-many, but for example, you need, let's say, how can I say that? If you need, for example, some sort of joins. Now, for example, there are some queries where you cannot navigate easily, and you need actually joins. So, for example, I would like to select the orders inside the customers, whatever it is. So you're gonna actually use joins, and they actually look exactly the same like the ones in SQL Server. Hang on a second, let me try to make up one for you. So because if I show you this, this is it. You know, you don't need to do, I mean, this is completes all types of queries that you're gonna see in your seminar. There's one important thing you have to know. This code, because you are writing your seminar right now, there is nothing needed from you to optimize or tweak your queries. In the future, for the future, if you graduate and you finish the faculty and you try to work in a company, for example, always use stored procedures for something like that. You use such complicated queries only for link to objects. It's fine, because this code is going to generate a huge SQL code. And if you don't believe me, there's a very interesting method you can verify that, but it has to be done a little bit. Yeah, I have already system.diagnostics in there. So I could have, you have to import system.diagnostics, and you have to do this while debugging, by the way. And you have to say debug.writeLine, and I'll show you what does that mean. .writeLine. And in here I'm gonna cast actually that query to system as far as I remember, data object objects, I believe, object context could be, yes, object context. And in here I'm gonna have a query, and all this all together dot trace, I believe there is a trace, or hang on a second, I cannot actually see. There was like a command like for tracing the SQL code, so you can in fact like print the output, SQL Server output of this one, SQL code actually that is going to be generated to make up this query. Hang on just a second. How come I don't have hang on a second, I believe it was object query, sorry about that. Object query dot to trace string, there you go. So what does that mean? This will in fact hang on a second. Yeah, I'm gonna have actually to take out that list for now, and here I'm gonna have dot to list just temporarily. It is actually the same thing, by the way. If you look in the code, this is in fact the same. Like here, just simply I didn't convert this. Right now it's iQueryable object, and here once I convert it to a list, this will actually return to a list right away at the end here. So it's going to be pretty much the same. Now if you would like to see this output, you have to enable in the view, and you have to have output, okay, enabled. This is the first thing. The second thing is you have to press F5. Why? Because you are debugging. If you say start without debugging, you will actually skip this guy. So you have to start debugging, so F5. And I'm gonna hit OK. And here, so let me try to minimize this so you can see the output. So employees based on territories, and watch this. So you have got like, whoa, that's a huge one. So you have this, and you have some inner joins, and you have other selections with some inner joins, I believe. And this is the only code which I have traced. I believe I don't have any debug nested anywhere else, which is quite surprising. So you see how large the query is. So that's why people use how can I say it? So that's why people actually use sort procedures for these cases. So you use sort procedures in the future. For your seminars, nothing is required from you to use the sort procedures right now. You can use it if you wish to, but this one is like for optimization purposes. This one is enough for you for your seminars. So let me delete this. And in fact, since the code is already compilable like that, I will leave it. Now let me try to hunt down for a query that it actually shows you how the joins will look like. But again, if you're going to use joins, please use them with link to objects. Do not use them with link to entities, because the generated SQL code is going to be quite interesting at some certain cases. Sometimes the joins will not be expanded in a very amazing way like this one. Okay, so give me just a second. I'll try to find actually a query for you that will work out. Let me try to grab. Well, okay, look at this. Customer orders and order details. Now, I will actually span over these guys to select whatever I like from customers and orders and order detail. But I will not actually project this into a data grid view, because this is exactly the same like when you return something. I mean, when you return I don't know, whatever query you made. Just I will show you how the code looks like, but it is again the same thing. If I say public static list of you know what, let me, for a change, I will make this as an object, because I'm going to return an anonymous object. Get or you know what, join example, because I really don't know what I'm getting. Okay, and here I'm gonna have var query equals to, and for example, in order to select the customers and order details and stuff. Okay, so we have customer ID, order ID, and in fact order details is there or not? Hang on a second. Yeah, order details is here even. Okay, so we're gonna have an interesting join. Let me try to hopefully work this out without any problems. So from, let's say, customers, so cust in dm class.dc.customers join. Actually in link you don't write actually inner or left or right joins or whatever it is. You just simply write join. Join ord in dm class.dc.order details for orders. As far as I remember, you have to say where ord dot customer ID equals cust dot customer ID, I believe so. I believe I have dot oh, I believe I have something wrong in here. Let me see. You know what? Let me try to write it like in a normal human being. So anyway, customer ID equals ord. Oh, you know what? Let me write it like this. Ord dot customer ID. And, or you know what? You can actually even write it like this. On cust dot customer ID equals ord dot customer ID. Yeah, you can write it so. And then you can write another join, ord details in dm class.dc dot order details on, and then you add ord dot order details dot id, I believe, or hang on a second. You can right now you're gonna have to play with this a little bit, so let me check, let me try to see what I can do here. So okay, order details, so ord dot id equals order details dot order id. There you go. Select new, and I can come here and I say, for example, I would like to fill the data grid view with the customer first name, customer dot first name, or whatever is gonna be, address, ID. Do I have anything like name or something? Okay, doesn't matter. I'm gonna have city dot, oh yeah, not city, whatever, address, customer dot company name. Sometimes it happens that you have similar properties from several objects. You just simply add here an alias. So for example, say company name equals to, which is the same thing as the properties, and then you can have ord dot order date, and so on and so forth. And at the end, just simply close this form dot to list, and just simply return that query. So this is how a join in fact will look like. Okay, you're gonna see this in your seminars for sure. I know that for sure that you're gonna see it, and as you can see here, it is almost exactly the same thing as in SQL Server when you're working with SQL queries. Just the only difference is you have to just to create the object first before you start joining it on other objects. This is it. You know, usually you say join DBO or whatever you have like domain, so DBO.customers.customer ID. You have to say, like you were in SQL, you had to do so, but here in Link you could just simply say ord from, you know, join order in orders on, and then you can just start to say, you know, how the details of this you know, how the details of this you know, equality will resolve to. Okay, so this is what's quite like, this is like the maximum what you're gonna see. This is how to resolve the many-to-many. This is how to resolve like the joins in case you have some sort of navigational problem and you cannot, for example, get a certain employee when you hit the dot. So as you can see here, I wanted actually to get the order detail. If you remember, order detail, and then when you hit dot, you cannot get his ID, so that's why I had to use the joins in order to do this. You see, it won't be possible without joins. Okay, so and of course right now I can just simply send it to a data grid view and see what's gonna happen. It's right now it's up to you guys, just simply like have fun with it. So I believe this is it. This is all the types of queries which you're gonna see in your seminars, and as you can see here, it's really quite straightforward. So to you know, like to sum the things up, I've showed you how to filter to data grid views, and you can see it's identical code when you are filling in a data grid view from filtering data from a combo box to a data grid view directly. It is exactly the same code as filtering one combo box, making a combo box filter the other combo box, and then the other combo box filters a data grid view. Now, based on the code which you can see, you can even chain up to 3 or 4 or 10 combo boxes if you want to, because it is exactly the same analogy, exactly the same code. Okay. I hope you got the full benefit of this lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to post it over the forum or send me an email for it, and I will answer you right away if you're stuck somewhere in these link queries. Okay. Thanks a lot for your attention, and see you in the next lessons.